Man, I really wanted to like this movie. I really did, but I don't know. I don't hate it though. I'll go ahead and say that I don't hate it, but yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to another review, and today I will be reviewing Dazed and Confused. Yeah. Um. So yeah, Dazed and Confused. This came out in 1993, and it was written and directed by Richard Linklater. Again, I just recently reviewed the Before trilogy, which was also written and directed by Richard Linklater. And Richard Linklater is a director I like quite a bit. I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of his films, but what I have seen, mostly of what I've seen, I enjoyed. The others that I've seen besides Dazed and Confused and the Before trilogy were Slacker, which is my favorite so far of his, and School of Rock. And I've also seen, I actually didn't mention this during my review for the Before trilogy. Go check out my Before trilogy review, by the way, if you haven't already. But um, I forgot to mention this during my Before trilogy review, but I also seen his very first film. Yes, I think a lot of people say that Slacker is his first film, but no, that's not true. He actually did do another film before then, and it was called, I think it was called It's Impossible to Plow from Reading Books or something like that. It has like a long title. And it's on my Slacker Criterion DVD. That's where I saw it. And yeah, so I've seen seven of his films, including if you count the Before trilogy as three films. I've seen seven of his films so far, including Dazed and Confused. I just watched this last night, and yeah, and I'm here to review it now. So, anyways, I'll go and say the cast. There's a big cast in this. Now, I'm just going to name the ones that I know. Like, I'm not going to name any that I'm not familiar with. I'll just name the ones I am familiar with. So it stars Jason London, who actually I'm not too familiar with, but I named him anyways because I'm familiar with his brother, Jeremy London, because he was in Mallrats. But yeah, Jason London, Ben Affleck, yes, Ben Affleck, Matthew McConaughey, of course. I'll talk about him later. um, Mila Jovovich, I think is how you say her name. Mila Jovovich, the chick from the Fifth Element and also the Resident Evil. I think the Resident Evil movies. I believe I always get her and the other chick. I don't even remember her name, but the one from what's it called? The Underworld movies. I always get them two confused because they look kind of similar in those films. But I'm pretty sure Mila Jovovich was in the Resident Evil movies. And Joey Lauren Adams, Parker Posey, and also Renee Zellweger was also in this film. Like she had a very just like a very short appearance, and I didn't even recognize her either. But she is in this film. I didn't recognize her, but yeah, she's in it. Yeah, that's all the ones I know. There's a lot more, but yeah, this is one of those films that had actors who were then unknown, but then later they got popular. Like pretty much all of them, except Jeremy or was it Jason London didn't really get too popular, but all the others did. But anyways, yeah, Dazed and Confused. So okay, so Dazed and Confused, I finally got to watch it. I've been wanting to watch it for a long time. I finally did. I bought it from Amazon on DVD. Yeah, and this was a movie that at first I didn't want to watch because of Matthew McConaughey. I'm not a Matthew McConaughey fan at all. I'm not. I think he's pretty annoying, honestly. I used to say that he's a terrible actor. Why do people love him? I don't say that anymore because honestly, I haven't seen enough of his films to say that he's a bad actor. So it's not the fact that I think he's a bad actor. I just don't like him because I think he's annoying. That's all. I think he has an annoying voice, and yeah. I will talk more about him in a minute, but yeah, I didn't want to watch this movie because of him, because I knew the quotes. He's probably the most popular character in the film, and this was also the movie that got him attention. That's why a lot of directors hired him, was because of this film. But like I've heard the quotes from him, the all right, all right, all right line, and it'll be a lot cooler if you did, and what's that one that that's what I like about these high school girls. They was it I get older and they stay the same age. Yeah. Which I have to admit is a pretty creepy line. I'll talk about that later. But anyways, though, yeah, I knew those quotes, long before long before I was even a film buff. I knew those quotes because I've heard people quote them all the time. And yeah, so I didn't want to watch this movie because of that, and because I didn't like McConaughey. But then, I was like, well, maybe I should anyways, because it is Richard Linklater. After I watched Slacker, I was like, and I loved that movie, so I was like, all right, I guess I'll watch Dazed and Confused. Took me a long time, but I finally did. And I'm not regretting watching it. Like I said in the intro, I really wanted to like this movie. I don't know. I'm honestly not a fan. And yes, this is me being honest. I don't call my reviews honest reviews anymore, but I'm just calling this a movie review. But if I was still doing that, this would definitely be an honest review. Yeah, I didn't love this movie. I'll talk more about that in a minute. So I guess I'll say the plot there's not really a plot, but I'll say the story, I guess. Again, not really much, but this takes place in the 70s. The story, that is, takes place in that. Excuse me. Takes place in 1976, and it's the last day of school, and sorry, and it's just showing kids hanging out on the last day of school, just getting high and drunk and stuff. That's pretty much it. They do show some stuff at school, like in the first act they do, but then like the second two acts, it's later on in the day. Pretty much all in one day. I think at the end of the movie, it does go into the next morning. I don't really call that a spoiler, but if that is a spoiler, I apologize. But yeah, there's like nothing really going on in this film too much. But however, that's not the reason why I don't like this movie. Because Slacker didn't have much for it either. Like nothing really happened in that movie. That one was just a bunch of people just talking, and that's kind of how this movie is too. And I like that kind of stuff. I do. If it's done right, I like it. It's not that this isn't done right. It's done fairly good, I guess. It's just that I thought Slacker did it better. Just the way, just the dialogue, I was a lot more interesting in Slacker, and there were just I don't know. I honestly think that Slacker is a better film than Dazed and Confused. Now, a lot of people would definitely disagree with me, but I do. I don't think this is I think it's good. I think Dazed and Confused is good, but I don't think it's amazing like a lot of people do. If you like it, that's perfectly fine. I don't know. There was just something about this film that I didn't really like. I don't know. But, however, this is a movie that I will say that I respect more than I actually like it because, like I said, it's not a bad movie at all. Like I think it's pretty good for the most part. Now I will say, a problem I do have with it is like I don't know, maybe the pacing of the film. Like it feels like it's going a little bit too fast, and and like also there's some edits in the film. I'm not a fan of the editing in this film, and I kind of blame of why it's not very well paced is because of the editing. Also, like there's some scenes that are like really short, like up to 5 to 10 seconds long, and I kind of feel like they're pointless. Like I don't understand why they're even in the movie, but whatever. Um, yeah, there's some stuff I didn't really understand why. Like, why didn't they cut it out of the film? Um, but yeah, that's kind of a negative. So I guess some positives I have for this film. I mean, it's pretty good written. I have this. Well, I mean, the script is pretty good by Richard Linklater. Just for what it's going for. I mean, it's good for what it is. I mean, it could be better, but it's not terrible either. Like I said, I do think Slacker did it better, but script isn't bad. The performances are pretty good, actually. Actually, everybody does a pretty good performance, I have to say. And yes, even Matthew McConaughey does a good performance. Um, I'll save him for last, but like, yeah, there's some good performances in this film. There's let's see, who all did I say? That Jason London guy, he was pretty good. I don't know. Well, actually, his character was okay. He wasn't too bad. He was all right. And Mila Jovovich was just barely in the film. There she is right there. She's just barely in the film. In fact, she doesn't even really have any lines. Maybe like a one. I think she said like one line of dialogue, maybe, but it wasn't really much, anyways. And like she doesn't really talk, but I don't know. I kind of liked her anyway. She was just yeah. She was cool. Joey Lauren Adams was all right. I like Joey Lauren Adams because of the Kevin Smith movies. You know, she's in those. Like I love her in Chasing Amy and Mallrats. But yeah, she was okay. She wasn't too bad. I also like her in Big Daddy. She was good in that movie too. Ben Affleck, of course. I'll say Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck. Now, okay, Ben Affleck was kind of a reason why. He was a big reason why I wanted to watch this movie. There he is right here. I don't know if you can see him real well, but that's him right there. Ben Affleck was the reason why I wanted to watch this movie. And yeah, another Kevin Smith actor, of course. I mean, he was an actor I didn't really like either until I started watching the Kevin Smith movies, and then I started to really like him. But yeah, I do like him in this movie. I kind of wish I liked him a little bit better. Like I feel like I think the problem is I don't think he's in the movie too much. Like I kind of think he should have been in the movie more. But he might be my favorite performance in the film. He might be I don't know if he's my favorite character because he plays a douchebag. He plays a bully in the film. But but that's kind of what made me want to watch it anyways. I wanted to see Ben Affleck as a bully. So yeah, and I did. I liked him. He was pretty funny, and yeah. I just wish he was in it more, but yeah. Ben Affleck was very good. And I guess I'll talk about McConaughey now. I actually am surprised that I actually wasn't that annoyed by him in this film. Surprisingly, I wasn't. And I will say he did play that character very well. But those quotes, I don't like those quotes. And I just don't like him in general, but I can actually tolerate him in this film more than I can tolerate him in The Wolf of Wall Street, which he was just barely in. But that one scene, the whole That scene, I can't stand that scene. And yeah, I actually liked him better in this film than I did in Wolf of Wall Street. And yeah, he was all right as performance wise. However, I do have a problem with his character. I do not like his character in this film because he's pretty creepy. I don't know if anyone else sees him as creepy, but he is like he's playing a character who I believe like maybe graduated maybe the year after or whatever. Like he's out of school, but he still hits on high school girls. You know, like I said, he has that famous line, the what was it? I get older, they stay the same age line. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. He like hits on high school girls. I'm not sure exactly how old he's supposed to be. Maybe 19, but it's still kind of creepy, especially if you're out of school and you're still hitting on high school girls. It's weird. Like, and he hits on that cute redhead in the film. I didn't say her name, but because I don't really, well, I don't know how to say her last name, the actress that is. But little known fact, she was actually married to Beck. Yeah, that redheaded chick. I don't remember the character's name, but if you've seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. She actually was married to Beck at one point. She's not anymore. They got divorced. But yeah, the little trivia there, I thought that was pretty cool. But like he flirts with her in the movie, and it just comes off as it just comes off as creepy, and I haven't heard anyone else say that about this film, that he's a creepy character, but that's how I see him. Like, I don't know, but Matthew McConaughey isn't really the reason why I don't like that the character. It's the character itself, not really his. Like I said, he did a good job, and he actually didn't annoy me as much as I thought he would. But and he wasn't even in the first act at all, because the first act took place in school, and he wasn't even there, like I said. But yeah, he didn't annoy me very much. It was just his character that I didn't like. Yeah, I thought he was very creepy, and yeah. Like I said, I really don't know if anyone else thinks he is, but I think he's pretty fucking creepy, if you ask me. So yeah, performances were good. I can't really think of what else to say about it. Like, one problem I do have with the film is I didn't really connect with any of the characters, honestly. Well, if any, it might have been that Mitch kid. He was like a freshman. I don't know who plays him, but if you've seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. He kind of seemed like he could have been the main character. There really isn't a main character in this film, but if anybody is the main character, I would probably see maybe that kid. His name is Mitch, I think. And he's a freshman. And he was all right. He might have been my favorite character. He wasn't bad. But also Jason London wasn't bad either. I kind of liked those characters, but everyone else, I mean, besides the performances, well, okay, and Ben Affleck, I liked his character too, but everyone else I wasn't really into that much. Like, I thought I didn't talk about Parker Posey, but I didn't like her character. She was kind of a bitch, honestly. I don't even like to just say that word to describe women, but yeah, she was a bad person. Well, not a bad person, but I wouldn't say bad person, but she was an asshole. There we go. But which I know bitch means asshole, but still, I just don't like. I just don't like to call. I respect women. I don't like to call them bitches. So. I apologize for that too, but for saying it at first. But anyways, I didn't like her character. Her performance was pretty good, but I didn't like her. But yeah, anyways, also I do want to say, like, I kind of get why this movie is so popular and stuff. I guess, I don't know, maybe it's just like a nostalgia thing. Like, maybe this movie's pretty much just for who people who grew up in the 70s, I guess. That's probably what that like people when this movie came out in 1993. It was probably just made for mostly just for people who grew up in the 70s, who were teenagers in the 70s. So and of course I was born in 98, so wasn't even close. Then yeah, I wasn't even close alive then. So, but anyways, what was I going to say? I was going to say, like, this is actually Richard Linklater's third film, and it's Universal. This is actually produced by Universal Pictures, which is a big production, movie company, and Slacker, which was the movie before this, was the one that got him attention. And if you haven't seen Slacker yet, I highly recommend it. Especially if you like Dazed and Confused, I highly recommend Slacker. Like, I think if you like Dazed and Confused, you should probably like Slacker as well. But Slacker, of course, was an independent film, and I mean, this I think was kind of an independent film too, but it's still, Universal still got it though. But Slacker, got attention, got Richard Linklater attention, and that's what Universal, they hired him to make a movie, and he made this movie. And this is a big movie, man. This is a really big movie. Kind of a little bit similarities to Kevin Smith, actually, but his first two films, because his first film was Clerks. Now, I will say Clerks was a more popular, a more successful film than Slacker, but it also got him attention. And Universal even went to Kevin Smith and said, "We want to help you make your next movie," just like they did with Richard Linklater and Dazed and Confused. And that movie was Mallrats, which I've said, like I said, Jason London's brother, Jeremy London, is in that movie. And also Ben Affleck and Joey Lord Adams are also in that movie as well. So it's like almost like a Dazed and Confused reunion. I mean, mostly just for Affleck and Joey Lord Adams, but still, that's probably why they hired them too, because they wanted that movie to be like the new Dazed and Confused. So that's probably why it was probably Universal's idea to have those actors in that movie. But and Kevin Smith worked with them later, especially Ben Affleck. But anyways, that movie though, Mallrats, which I do love. I love Mallrats. As you saw, if you haven't seen already, but if you've seen my Kevin Smith ranking, yeah, I love Mallrats. I put that as my number 3. Spoiler alert, but yeah. But Mallrats wasn't successful, unfortunately. It flopped when it came out, but now it's getting attention. Now it has like a cult following, so that's good. But it didn't. Yeah. Critics did not like Mallrats when it came out. Mallrats was trying to be like somewhat like the next Dazed and Confused, but it didn't. So yeah. Also, you know what? Another issue I have with this movie, I don't know about anyone else, but this didn't really feel like it was the 70s to me. Like I said, this is supposed to be the 70s. Like, apart from like, how they're dressed and stuff, it didn't really feel like it was the 70s. Like when I watched, of course, the movie itself is the 90s, but it felt like it was the 90s, to be honest. It didn't feel like it was the 70s to me. Like if you're going to do a movie of the 70s, or just any era for that matter, any decade, you got to make the movie itself feel like that decade or year or whatever. And yeah, it didn't. It did not feel like it was the 70s, at least for me. Like Boogie Nights was supposed to be set in the 70s, and that felt like it was a 70s. I felt the 70s in that, but this felt like the 90s to me. It did not feel like 70s. So Yeah, that's an issue I have with it. It did not feel like a 70s story, I guess. It just did not feel like it took place in the 70s, besides their clothes and stuff and the music. And yeah, I should talk about the music too, of course. Soundtrack, everyone loves the soundtrack, it's 70s rock, which I do like 70s rock, but for the most part, I'm not a big fan of this soundtrack because it's all just songs I've heard to death. Stuff like Aerosmith and Ted Nugent and stuff like that. I've heard that a lot. Although there are two songs I do like in the soundtrack, which are Hurricane from Bob Dylan. That's a good one. And I like Cherry Bomb from the Runaways. Those are like the only two songs I liked from the movie. Like even Black Sabbath is in this movie, and I love Black Sabbath, but Paranoid. It was Paranoid that was playing in it, and I'm not a fan of Paranoid, honestly, just because I've heard it so much. But I'm not head over heels for this soundtrack. Like the soundtrack is probably just nostalgia. They had to put in a lot of 70s music in it. Well, of course they did because that's but they had to do that too because of nostalgia, and I get it. It makes sense, but I just wasn't a fan of the soundtrack. It's not one of my favorite soundtracks, honestly. As much as I love 70s music, it's just most of the song choices are songs which I've heard most of these songs already, and I'm just not a fan of them, of most of them. Oh wait, Lowrider was in it too from War. I do like that song, actually. I like Lowrider, but yeah, these other songs I just heard to death, and I'm just not a fan of the soundtrack. But anyways, yeah, I'm not a fan of Dazed and Confused, unfortunately, but I do respect it. I do think it's a good movie. I don't think it's an amazing movie, and I don't even think it's Richard Linklater's best film. I would say probably the Before trilogy, probably Before Sunrise, the first film, but the first film out of the Before trilogy. But yeah, I thought the Before trilogy was a little better than this. Like that's probably the best Richard Linklater film, counting all three, but mostly also Before Sunrise. But yeah, that's the best thing I ever seen Richard Linklater done. And like I said, I even think Slacker is a little bit better than this film. Yeah, that's me though. But I don't know, School of Rock, it's kind of close. I like School of Rock better, but I don't know, it's kind of close. It might be better than School of Rock. I don't know, but I do like it better than the first film, the Impossible to Read Books, or Impossible to Plow by Reading Books, or whatever it's called. That one's my least favorite Richard Linklater film because I thought that film was a little bit boring. But it was okay as an independent film, I guess. But yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of Dazed and Confused. But it's not that I won't ever watch it again. I kind of want to watch it again sometime. I mean, it probably won't be anytime soon, but I'll hang on to this DVD, and in fact, if I ever do a Richard Linklater ranking for the channel, I'll definitely watch it then, and hopefully, maybe the more I watch it, maybe I'll like it more. I don't know, but yeah, not a big fan of this film, but I respect it. Now, I guess I'll go ahead and give it its grade. I don't know what to say about this film other than I'm just not a fan of it. So, Dazed and Confused, I'm going to give Dazed and Confused a C+. Yeah, I apologize, but yeah, I'm going to give it a C+, because I just didn't love this movie. Kind of disappointed me, but C+, I think that's a fair grade to give it, because it's almost there. It's actually almost there for me to like it, because there's moments I like and stuff, but yeah, C+, Dazed and Confused. Yeah. All right, well, there's we're almost at the 30-minute mark. I apologize for that, but there's my review for Dazed and Confused. So in the comments, tell me, have you seen Dazed and Confused? Have you not? Also, what's your favorite Richard Linklater film? My favorite, like I said, is Slacker. But yeah, what's your favorite Richard Linklater film? All right, so please please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Yeah, and I think my next video I'm gonna do is my top my top 5 favorite films from 2012. So I'll see you then. All right, peace.